white people.
I really want to check this out with you guys so that we can have a good conversation. Let's go.
Why don't you say anything about police brutality?
When last time police done killed a nigga?
That shit happens a lot.
But
it may not be George Floyd media status, but that shit happens a lot.
Okay, so I often look at those.
Hold on, before we move forward, I just want to tell you what's going on here. Charleston White is being interviewed, and the question was, how come you don't talk about police brutality? Because in the black community, that's what they talk about a lot. We want to talk about police brutality, police brutality. You know how they like to beat that drum so that this is happening to black people only is what they want them to say. Or this has happened so much that we need to draw more attention to this topic. We need to talk about this ad nauseum because these police are getting out of hand, and you already know that Trump is going to allow them to do whatever they want to black people. That's what black people are. You know, that's the word on the street. They believe that police brutality should be at the top of mind for any conversation. So that's what he was asked. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to it. I just want y'all to know, for context purposes, where we're going with this.
Don't you say anything about police brutality?
When last time police done killed a nigga?
That shit happens a lot.
But
it may not be George Floyd media status, but that shit happens a lot.
Okay, so I often look at those statistics. The police shoot more mentally ill white men than anybody. The white boy mama who done called the police on him because he had to have. So if you look at the statistics, the police on the average shoot more white people than they do black people. I'm a guy that's big on statistics. Police shootings, and I want people to really hear me on me. Police shootings, killing the unarmed nigga, is the least of our problems in America. It's the least of our problems. They ain't shot now nigga on his way to school. They ain't shot no nigga getting off work. They ain't shot no nigga in a high visibility construction vest. They ain't shot a nigga in no suit. They ain't shot now nigga with his pants pulled up and his shirt tail tucked in. They ain't shot it. No. When I watched the country not have no outrage for Tamir Rice, there was no need for me to speak. There was no need for me to speak on police brutality, because police brutality is small compared to black on black. Police brutality is small to the 73% of households that are headed by single women. Police brutality is small compared to only 36% of black children can read on or above their grade level. Police brutality is small when you got over 2 million children in the United States of America who suffer from hunger. Homie, that's the least of our problem.
I wanted to start us off with that because that's near and dear to me. When I was younger, I was one of them type of knuckleheads in Southeast DC that before I became a nice kid, I used to like violence. I used to like, hitting people in the face for no reason. I used to like being that knucklehead, right? I used to like throwing rocks at police cars, hoping they'd chase us. I used to like throwing rocks inside of people's apartments, hoping they'll come out there and chase. I used to like, me and my friends used to walk down to the mall, and when we were just teenagers, I'm talking about really small teenagers, just becoming 13 years old. And we used to practice our knockout punch by punching random men in the face and seeing if we can knock them down. These are the things that happen in black communities. My biggest threat was other black people. Their biggest threat was me and other black people. It wasn't white police. It wasn't police at all, actually. And if we got chased and beat down by the police, 9 times out of 10, we freaking deserved it. We freaking deserved it. We have been teaching people how to grow online. It's been absolutely my friends. Much love to them. We've all went through the phase where they say that you become a product of your environment. That's only true if you allow your environment to shape you. That's only true because of the things that he mentioned. 70% of households are women only, raising these kids and don't know where they are most of the time. Most of the things that we have to worry about is being accosted by, robbed by, beat up by, shot at, or anything done harm by our own people. And that's the same thing for white communities too. White communities' biggest issues are other white people. Black people's biggest issues are other black people. It's not police brutality, but that's just a cop out. See, something that people like to do when they don't like to accept accountability and responsibility for the things that go on in their communities is they want to blame other people. Right now, who we like to blame is white America, Trump. They like to blame Trump a lot. They like to blame the Republicans a lot. They like to blame police a lot. But then when you look at, and when they're talking about getting rid of guns and everything, the only reason why they want to get rid of guns is because of the propaganda that's being sold throughout all of news networks, mainstream media, where they say, what about Sandy Hook and all of these school shootings? School shootings is the least of our concerns. Listen, I don't want anybody to walk into a school and shoot at any kids, any teachers, none of that. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. But that's not top of mind when you think about people using guns against one another. What's top of mind is I can't even go around my old neighborhood because 9 times out of 10, something could happen to me because youngins are still running wild with guns out there. I'm not concerned. You ever seen that stand-up comedy with Chris Rock when he said, "When I go to the ATM, I'm not looking over my shoulders for the white man. I'm looking over my shoulder for niggas," because that's the truth. But nobody wants to face the truth. You got hip hop culture that we idolize people who talk about killing niggas. We idolize people who talk about having like 15, 20, 30 women. We idolize that. We don't idolize anybody who talk about love and marriage and raising children anymore. When I got older, when I met my wife in high school, she changed the game for me. She changed the game for me. And then when I got my own children, oh, that was it. Because I didn't have my father nor my mother in my household when I was being raised. So when I got my own children, I wanted to give them what I didn't have. I didn't have my father or my mother, so they were going to have their family. I was not going to do anything that was going to end me and have me in jail, in prison, where I couldn't raise them. I will always have a way for them to eat. I will always have a roof over their heads. I will always be able to show them love. I will be able to protect them from the streets. I will be able to protect them from the police. I will be able to teach them the things that they can have when they're out there by themselves when I can't protect them. Put some common sense in their head. Put some decency in their head. Introduce them to God. Show them the purpose of family. Show them why God is so powerful and he should be praised. Those are the things that a man and a family should do. Black America needs to lock more into nuclear families and less into blaming people for police brutality or Trump is out to get us or, all of that fake stuff that don't even affect our households. It don't impact our households. While we're always focusing on that ghost that could do this, the police that could do this, we got to teach our sons that if a police pull you over, you got to do this, that, and the third, and it's sad. No, it's not sad. You should teach your kids that if a police pull you over, you talk to them respectfully. If a police pull you over, make sure that the windows are down already and smoke is not coming out the window. Make sure that you're not inebriated when you're driving. There's so many different things that a man could teach these children. But because of welfare, because of the way that the government has been treating us for such a long time, when the president way back in the day said we're going to keep them N-words on voting for us for the next 400 years by putting us on welfare. We're going to make sure that we introduce them to welfare so that the black woman can make a choice now. Do I want the government's help or do I want my baby daddy's help? And unfortunately, they chose wrong so many times. So you got Black culture, you got the music that we're always listening to and bumping our heads to, that constantly train us to accept that debauchery over and over and over again, with no one there in the household to make any course corrections. So once you get your own family, then you realize what's most important, and you can keep them away from that. The chances of them running into a police officer and things going left are far less when you have a man in the household that can teach you these things, that can put that strength and that love and make you put that confidence in you. You know what I mean? So we focus on all the wrong things. All the wrong things. So that's the reason why, that's one of the reasons why I currently vote the way that I vote. That's the reason why, that's one of the main reasons why I walked away from the Democratic plantation, because they still lift up that debaucherous behavior. They still lift up, oh no, go do whatever you want and be as freaky as you want to, just get an abortion. No. What you think is going to happen if you're constantly teaching your children that you don't have to face the music? Huh? What do you think is going to happen when you constantly telling your the women in your life that they can do whatever they want to do as long as they have a get out of jail free card, go to the abortion clinic and get it sucked out of them? What do you think is going to happen? And Black community don't even know why abortion clinics were started in the first place. They don't realize that that was started to kill the Black race. They actually think that that was a tool that they can use for their health. That is not a health benefit. So since they are not taught that, they look at anybody that want to put any type of responsibility and accountability in their households as the enemy, and they are not. They don't realize that we're trying to do a job that their parents should have done already. So that's why I wanted to play this for you all, because when Charleston White sat down in front of that gentleman on this podcast, and that gentleman said, Charleston White, how come you never talk about police brutality, huh? Because Black America want to talk about that. Because that's big. It happens all the time. Okay, how many people was shot, killed, or killed by the police in the last year? And you say 7. 7 of them was. You're like, oh my God. That is a lot. Nobody should be killed by the police at all. I'm sorry, I'm sweating. Nobody should be killed by the police, especially since they're service people that we pay, and that and they work for us. Okay, but that still does not mean take them for granted and believe that you can be all belligerent and talk down to them and cuss at them and not do what they ask you to do. That's dumb as hell. I do want y'all to know this too, that earlier in my marriage, my wife would tell you, because I've always been this type of person, man. I've always been working on myself. Let's just say that. And when I got pulled over by the police, a lot of times when my wife was in the car, I was so mean. I was rushing the police, trying to, like, why you pull me over? Knowing good and well I was just now doing like 15 to 20 miles over the speed limit. They could have locked me up for that. They really could have. But most of them, and this happened far more than once, they would just let me go with a ticket or a warning, because they were good police. It's far more good police out here than are bad police. But if you're a Black person saying that, then you are considered a coon in the eyes of other Black people.